We're talking to Miss Consuela Green, and of course, Ms. Green is a health educator at Matthew Walker Comprehensive Health Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Of course, Ms. Green, let us continue our conversation of managing diabetes.
Okay.
You've already given us such excellent information in reference to this disease, but let's talk about some of the other things that you feel that our audience ought to know in reference to making them not only much more aware of this disease, but encouraging them to go out and do the kind of testing that's necessary in order to protect themselves.
Okay, well, first of all, before the break, we mentioned the statistics. Over 18 million people have diabetes, and what's so interesting is so many other million that do not even know that they're diagnosed with the disease, and they're living with it. As I mentioned before the break, there are so many people that are living with the disease and don't know it because the disease sometimes lies dormant. Sometimes there are even times where you have no symptoms at all, and so you want to make sure, number one, that you go to the doctor on a regular basis. At Nashville Reach 2010, the Access to Healthcare team, one of the things that we are trying to do is improve the primary healthcare services of North Nashville, and that's just not particular within the North Nashville area, but in general, making sure that your physician provides you with quality health care, and you as the patient are empowered to, number one, go to your physician. But secondly, some of the things that I would encourage you, if you don't know that you don't have it, definitely go get tested. You ask for the test. Let them perform the test.
Is it a difficult situation to get tested?
Oh, no, because there are many opportunities. If you don't even go to the physician, your physician will be able to truly diagnose you, but there are other ways, like the health fairs at some of the local churches. They present glucose and cholesterol testing, and that's something that our screening team is mostly involved in, and that's an area that you can definitely get tested, and then they can refer you on for treatment. But definitely go to your physician, have a working relationship with your provider. If you do have diabetes and you have been diagnosed, then one of the key things that I would tell you is don't be afraid of it. You have to make sure that even though you have it, don't deny it. Don't say, no, I don't have it. Just accept it and move on, because it's not a death sentence, but it's something that you can manage. And in managing the disease, some of the things that you can do, you need to do it with an entire healthcare professional team. That's not just your general practitioner, but that's your nutritionist. She can help you with how you can go about eating, and we have a nutritionist on board at Matthew Walker. You need to have a nephrologist, somebody that can help you with your kidneys. You need to have an ophthalmologist to get your eyes checked. You need to make sure that you have a podiatrist to get your feet checked so you don't have any amputations. All of these people play a key role in the success of your overall treatment plan. If you're just going to one and not following up with the others, then you're really not doing yourself any justice. So that's one of the things. And then I would encourage you to definitely share with your family. Your family is very supportive of you. And if you do have family members that are what I call diabetic cops, then you need to make sure that you talk to them and tell them, you know, that kind of hurts my feelings when you take away everything. I can't eat some things. And that really comes from just immaturity and them not understanding the disease. And so it's up to you to make sure that they are aware of the disease, what they need to do, and what things you can't eat. Especially if you go into a high and low blood sugar, they need to know if you go into a low blood sugar that you need to take a half a cup of orange juice or eat 5 or 6 hard candies. If you're in a high blood sugar, that you need to contact your physician to make sure that this is not something that happens regularly. These things are some things that they need to be aware of, not to beat you over the head, of course, but just to make sure that they are supportive of you. And then just to know that you're not in this thing by yourself. We have there are numerous support groups, and we don't like, you know, to say support groups, but we call them empowerment classes. At Matthew Walker, we have a Managing Your Diabetes program. That program is just growing by leaps and bounds, and this is just individuals who come and say, you know what, yes, I have the disease, but yes, I know I'm not in this thing alone, and I need some help. And so these individuals come, they learn, they have educational seminars, we bring in experts, because we do not proclaim to be the experts in everything, but we have experts that come in that will give them the testing that they need Follow up with your physician. Follow up with your physicians. Take your prescribed medications as follows. And you know, I know a lot with the TennCare issues and everything. There's a lot of people that's going to be cut off accessing health care, and they're not going to be able to get their prescriptions. But I would encourage not to take a pill a day and skip a day, or take somebody else's pill. None of that is going to help you. But making sure that you, number one, treat yourself and your health as first priority. We take care of everybody else, but when it comes to our health, we don't take care of ourselves. And so that's things that I would encourage an individual who is living with it or who has a loved one to do, as far as it is in regards to diabetes.
You know, and of course, Ms. Green, when we talk about this disease, I think that we also, and I think you've already mentioned the fact that young people, very, very young people, are also affected by this disease. Now, what can you say in reference to what you're doing at Matthew Walker in terms of identifying some of these young people that you might see?
You know, we work primarily with the adults, but definitely we have a pediatric department that is on top of diseases and current information as far as children. And so one of the things that I would encourage, if you notice that your child is presenting any symptoms, is being very tired, irritable, or increase in thirst, can just drink at the refrigerator nonstop, definitely get them seen by a physician, and that pediatrician will be able to diagnose them and be able to run tests to see if they are presenting symptoms or signs for diabetes. If they are, you know, sometimes children deal with things differently than adults. So there are also groups out there, one in particular called Sugar Babies, that can help them in dealing with this disease. And also, I would just encourage that you support that person. So that means the entire family's regimen of eating, their lifestyle, their health, will need to change so that this young child or the adult that's dealing with diabetes do not feel like they're being isolated, or like I can't have anything, or you know, feel depressed. There are times when people do feel depressed, and so we want to make sure that that the atmosphere is set and is open for the entire family to be able to discuss it, and for those who don't have it, that you can talk about it so that they can prevent other people in their family from getting it.
And so, Ms. Green, what we're saying here over the last 3 minutes that we have here is that we are really dealing with a very, very serious disease that is a silent disease, but at the same time, it's a disease that can be, and this is why when you talk about managing diabetes, it's a kind of disease that can be managed. But in order to manage this disease, you have to have some information. You have to be able to understand the blood counts and et cetera and et cetera. And if you have the disease and don't know that you have it, then you are running the risk, in a real sense, of having amputated limbs and et cetera and et cetera. Is that what we're saying?
That is what we're saying. Managing your diabetes. Managing diabetes is, number one, you putting the ball in your court and you saying, yes, I'm going through, I have this, but I'm going to conquer it. And that's what we're trying to get, is individuals to look at their disease not as I mentioned earlier, a death sentence, but you're going to conquer it. Making yourself accountable, number one, yes, I have it, but I need to do some things, and I'm going to treat my body as God would have me to treat it. And when you do that and you put yourself first, you start to take care of your health, you will see not only will you prolong or prevent some of the complications from coming, but you will have a much healthier life. And those around you will be successful as well, because you are.
Well, look, in terms of the last minute and a half we have here, let me put this question. Do you think that the Matthew Walker Center, a comprehensive health center, is performing a real need within the catchment area that it's in?
Oh, most definitely. You know, we have, we're right in the heart of downtown. So we have, like I mentioned, several community outreach initiatives that have been birthed out of Matthew Walker. And we know, though, that we can't be successful without the community. So no matter how many efforts that we do as a team at Matthew Walker, the administration, along with the physician, the clinical and medical staff, as well as some of our partners that have partnered with us over the years, we can't do it without the community, and the community cannot make it without us. So what it is two forces joining together as one, conquering diseases and eliminating health disparities.
Very good. And of course, Ms. Green, let me, over the last 45 seconds that we have here, thank you for bringing that excellent information in reference to diabetes. And I'm sure that those members of our audience who might sort of suspect that they have something wrong with their bodies will be able to react to it. And as you are telling us now that it's a disease that you can have for a long time unless you're tested, and of course if you have it and without being tested, that you run the risk of having some real health complications and even death in the end. Is that what we're saying?
That's
and of
what
course,
we're saying.
and of course, we appreciate you giving us that information. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.